How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm actually super excited too. It kind of feels unreal because when you watch something on social media, then you get to see the person behind it. It seems unreal. So I just want to start by talking about Best Friends Forever and how did you come up with this idea, and also like what was the production process behind it?
Okay, so Best Friends Forever came. I always wanted to do a web series for the longest time. The reason why I like to do a web series, my first was This Is Life. This was the second one, Best Friends Forever. And the reason why I always wanted to do web is because web has like a universal audience. You don't get to like kind of, your audience isn't like, limited. It's like anyone, anywhere around the world can watch it. So after I did This Is Life, I told myself, you know what, it's time for me to do something else. And that's how the idea of Best Friends Forever came along. And the production process was actually for Best Friends Forever pretty simple because the concept is something that I wrote when I was like 14 years old.
Are you serious? Yes. Wow.
So I literally just like when I was going through my old books, for this read novel since I was a kid, I was going through my old books. I saw this book called Best Friends Forever, Rita and Chris. I was like, oh, cool. I can make a web series out of that. And it was really that simple.
That's amazing. I feel like that's something I've learned about you. I feel like we don't get to know that you're a writer as much. We get to know you produce films, you direct films. So it's amazing that you just mentioned this is something you'd written when you were younger. Yeah. That's crazy. So how long did it take to shoot Best Friends Forever?
Best Friends Forever, I think set days were a total of about 10 days. We did pre-production was about 2 weeks, about 2 weeks for shooting and about 2 weeks for editing. So all in all, about I think 1.5 months or so, we had the product out.
Wow. And did you compare? If you compare it with This Is Life, which one would you say was the most tedious one to?
This Is Life. Oh, for sure. This Is Life, because This Is Life had way more characters, way more locations. It had just production-wise, it was just a lot more. We shot in Naivasha, we shot in, so This Is Life was definitely way more tedious.
Okay. Yeah. Now, how much did you find yourself investing in Best Friends Forever? Was it super costly?
Not really.
Best friendly budget.
It was very friendly budget because Best Friends Forever, I think maybe about 300,000. That's how much I spent. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And so far, did you expect the reaction you got from Best Friends Forever from the moment you released it?
I didn't. To be honest, I didn't. I think the reason why is because even budget-wise, Best Friends Forever was much lower than This Is Life by far. Because This Is Life we spent millions. So for me, when I released Best Friends Forever, it was almost like, okay, let me just put this in the market and see what happens. And I did not expect, and again, the production was way more chilled out. It was almost like working among friends and just doing something every day and having fun with it. And so obviously I didn't expect the reaction that I got. Again, it's a story that I did when I was 14 years old. So I didn't expect the feedback that I got, but the feedback has been amazing and it's been very, very encouraging.
That's amazing. So was Best Friends Forever, when you wrote it, based on a real life story, or was just a fictional kind of idea that you came up with?
Well, loosely, because I've always had guy best friends. Even now, my best friend is a guy. Like all through my life, like ever since I was a kid, I always had guy best friends. And I always found it weird how when you have a guy best friend, there's always so much complications that come with it, which even back then I didn't understand. Because I'm like, this guy's like my brother. You get that, right? Like,
I get what
literally,
you mean.
like for me, it's like guys make such good friends. And I never understood why it's such a big deal.
Okay. Yeah. And what would you say is your theme when it comes to your productions?
Love
and your stories?
Always.
That's what you're best at, telling the story.
Yeah. I think I do. I think that's my niche. That's what I'm good at. So whatever I do, even like when right now I'm trying to write like a drama thriller kind of. But love is still at the basis of it. So it's like no matter what I write, love is at the basis of it. Not always like love between man and a woman. Sometimes I'll write the love between a mother and her child, or the love between friends, or the love, but it's just, or the love of self. But love is just at the center of what I write.
That's great. Now, earlier on you had mentioned that you particularly like to do web series because it allows you to have a wider range of audience. It doesn't limit you to have like a specific audience. Now, you like making web series has become a serious trend. There's so many Nigerian films with Ghanaian films. And I just want to ask you, do you feel like Kenyan films, we in a space where we are kind of playing catch up with, spaces like Nigeria, even South Africa, for example, Sugar, which is a really followed web series. I'm a big fan of Sugar.
Yeah.
So do you feel like we're playing catch up with these particular individuals?
I think we are playing catch up, and one of the reasons why is because when you do a web series, there's no guarantee you're going to get your money back, and that is definitely a really big issue. Like now for Best Friends Forever, we've been trying to get corporates on board so that we're able to do the second season. So for me, I think because the finances are so tricky with it, then that's what makes it very risky, because even when I was doing the web series, I was not expecting to make money. I was just like, let me put it out there, and then whatever happens kind of situation. So I think that's the risky part of that is what becomes then a problem.
Okay, well, this is not your first web series, obviously. What would you say are the most difficult parts of the challenges you face when you decide to do a web series? And also, how do you even make money from it?
Okay, well, This Is Life. This Is Life is on our website, This Is Life series.tv, and you get to like pay on M-Pesa or all major credit cards. You pay $7 to watch the entire season. So This Is Life was definitely a lot more. It's a lot more obvious how I made money from it, because it's very it's like you pay to watch. It's basically a pay to watch situation, and we did have quite a number of Kenyans, which I really appreciate, who bought the series and who supported us. So for This Is Life, it was very simple. It was just straight up like that.
Okay.
For Best Friends Forever, it's free to watch. So that one, I haven't even made money from it yet. It's more like
you just wanted to share your work.
Yeah, just share the work and then kind of like just roll it out there, see what happens. As I said, we're trying to get corporates on board, so if we can try to prove to the corporates that we have something that people want to watch, then maybe we can convince them to come and sponsor us.
Okay.
So
all right, so what are some of the ways you market your web series, apart from obviously putting your work on YouTube, having a website? Do you take advantage of any other social media platforms to market your work? The way
that I market my work is usually through pushing it, like on YouTube and Facebook, like paid advertising.
Okay.
The good thing with digital marketing, it's way cheaper than any other kind of marketing right now. Like if you put an ad on TV or a newspaper or in magazines, it's crazy, you can't afford it. But the good thing with digital marketing is you're able to like really specifically get to your specific audience. You understand?
Yeah.
Like the demographic, where they live, how old they are, what their interests are, what their hobbies are, what are the videos that they look for. So you can really, really like get down to the nitty-gritty to make sure that the person that you're marketing to is specifically the person who'd be interested. The way that we do it, we have YouTube analytics, which tells me, like now, for example, Best Friends Forever is 90%. It's actually 90% 18 to 35 years old.
Okay.
And it's I think about 60% or 65% women. So now you see, with all those, you so if I'm to advertise Best Friends Forever, I know who specifically to pick, and then I think it's also about 80% Kenyans who are watching it. So I know, okay, I want to target Kenyans, females between the ages of this and this. With this, it's digital marketing gives you that what other kinds of marketing can't. Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Now, just when you tell me your honest opinion in terms of where the film industry in Kenya is right now, from what you've experienced, I'm sure you've been there for a really long time. Do you feel like we are developing into something bigger and better each and every year?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Why is that?
I don't think so. I think because the TV market, because we're in a tricky place, because the TV market has changed. Once the digital aspect of the TV market came in, then the TV market changed. But it's like if you're not fast enough to change with it, or if everyone that you're working with and everyone that you want to collaborate with is not fast enough to change with the market, then it becomes very difficult. Because back in the day, it was very easy for me to sell my shows to like KTN, whatever, and all these other channels. But like right now, it's much harder because there's always that aspect of my content is too complicated, or it's too high end, and the TV market has changed more into the low end consumers, where high end consumers are now on Netflix and YouTube and online and all that stuff. They've moved away from TV, which means then the way that I would sell my shows 5 years ago is not the same way that I would sell my shows now.
Okay.
So definitely the TV market has changed, and so me actually going into doing web series is me trying to adapt to the change of the market, because if you don't adapt, then it's very difficult for you to stay afloat.
Okay, and do you find that, you know, with the TV market being very different right now, and them having to accept certain content, do you find it driving the kind of content you create in your films?
I definitely don't do that anymore. Before, I think maybe I'd say 3-4 years ago, I did a lot of shows just to pay the bills. A lot of shows that are just slapstick and whatever, because that's what the market wanted from me at the time. But I'm not willing to do that anymore, because I think you have to grow, and sometimes growth can be painful. Sometimes growth can be very expensive because you're not maybe for that time of, you're not earning the money that you would if you were just to stick to what you're supposed to do, right? So growth is painful, growth is risky, but at the same time, you stay in the same place if you don't allow yourself to grow.
Okay.
So definitely my content is not affected at all by what it is that TV stations are trying to do. I think I'm trying to create the kind of content that I would love to watch, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to create content that if someone puts it on, I'm like, no, I don't I don't want to watch that, I don't want to see that. And so even moving forward, I'm gonna do a lot more web series. I'm gonna do feature films. In September I'm shooting a feature film, and it's just I think for any pioneer or for anyone trying to do something different, it's they're growing pains.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. But I think at the end of it, it's all worth it.
It pays off.
It does pay off, because if you do something and you do it well and you do it consistently, then you will make money from it. Those are the three things: do something, do it well, and do it consistently. That's it. Those are the three things.
Okay.
If you're able to do that, then you can make money from doing anything.
I'm definitely learning a lot from you right now. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation talking about web series and more about how exactly you can actually make money from this. Do not go anywhere.